Man, I should have some music playing right now, like dun,
Dun, dun,
right?
dun, dun,
No, dun,
dun, dun, dun, dun.
dun. It's just the end of the
Oh,
world as we know it,
yes. Oh, yes, the end of the world.
Oh.
right? We're in
yes.
March. It's just the end of the world. I have issues, Sierra and Ken, big issues with social media, big issues with giving all the idiots a voice, big issues with, and this is, I swear to you, this is what happens, okay? When you give everybody a voice, right? Most people, 80% of the world, live in fear to begin with, right? Because fear is
Yes.
fear is the thing that propels them through life. So we have something called the coronavirus. And by the way, did you see the new Tony Romo commercials on the coronavirus?
No, I haven't.
No.
Yeah, so you know the Corona commercials he does. Hello, Corona Hotline, right?
Oh,
Yeah. So Tony Romo's sitting there now going with a mask on and going, hello, Corona Hotline, you know, and there's no longer a beach in the background. He's now inside a government safe with 4 walls and nothing else. And he says, yep, you can join me here if you pass the test. I mean, that's how kind of the way I feel. It's amazing. We have taken down, and look, oil didn't help today, but because we live in such a unhealthy world, you know, mindset wise, that this is all people talk about. My daughter talks about it. She's 9 years old. They talk about it at school. You know, kids are talking about it. People are posting about it. The cruise trip off the coast of California, the Port Authority guy that got it today in New York City. Oh my God, it's coming into the Port Authority in New York.
Oh.
He got sick. Everybody's going to get, I mean.
The White House.
Yeah, fear porn sells.
Yeah.
It is. It's fear porn. And this is what, you know, and I'm glad to have both of you guys on here today, because we're going to have to talk about your immune system today. I mean, look at the stock market. It's the most disgusting thing you look at every single day. They had to halt the stock market today. That doesn't happen on a regular basis. There's called emergency
Yes.
triggers. When the stock market goes down 7%, they halt it for 15 minutes. And somebody today at the gym says, why 15 minutes? And I said, because they hope in 15 minutes people will do Wim Hof breathing exercises and literally catch their breath and realize that what they're doing is taking down the economy and other things as repercussions to it. So they give you 15-minute, like a timeout. The stock market had a 15-minute timeout today. Did it work? Let me look at that screen. No, we're going for the lows of the day right now. No,
If it gets too low, they'll just turn it off for the entire day. That's the next plan.
Oh, they're going to turn it off again today because we're heading right to the lows of the day again.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be turned off again.
Yeah.
So what do we do? You know, I'm big into immune boosting. I'm big into health. And I'm going to let you guys talk about it because this is just out of control, I think. And I think it's time that people either bought into the fear or took their life in their own hands. And today's show is about taking your life in your own hands with C60.
Yeah, and that's what we got to do, because you know it's basically their government's not going to be out there to help you. You know, they don't have enough hospital beds. They don't have enough that. And so C60 can help you get to where, you know, you can take control of your own health destiny. And you don't have to be afraid of, you know, keeling over from coronavirus, because C60 has things that can help you.
And you want to act as if you're going to get it, because what we're seeing and what's happening all over the world is that the spread is rampant. And I mean, I guess some people are saying 40 to 70% of the entire population is just going to get it. So you might as well focus, instead of on the fear, focus on what can I do today that's going to stop hurting my immune system, stop killing my good microbiome, and build my gut health. What can I do right now? So I'm excited to talk about some of those things, because let's focus on that instead of focusing on the fear. But then also let's focus on how we can help our communities, because I hear a lot of people say, oh, yeah, it's not really going to affect, you know, it's mild symptoms and I'm not going to get sick. I'm not worried about that. It's like, well, what about the people that are going to get sick? What about the people with a 20% mortality rate?
Yeah, well, that's part of the thing. You know, right now it's like the S curve. I don't know if you guys have heard of the classic S curve. Sorry, I'm going to be taking some space up here.
I use it in trading. I know that. It's the retest.
Yeah, this is the S curve, the classic S curve. You know, right now we're down here at the bottom. Or let me get that right. Yeah, see, it starts out with just a few cases, then some clusters, then it shoots way up. And we're just starting to enter this big slope side. and then it peters off at the end and goes less and less. And so this is where we're at right now. We're just starting this S curve. And so right now people can hardly hear, a case here, then there'll be clusters, then it'll be everywhere. And that's part of it. And the fact about the coronavirus, 80% of people who get the coronavirus are going to have minor to no symptoms, right? Very insignificant. That's 80% of the people. And then 20% of them have a health problem, and maybe 2% die. And when you're looking at the people that are really, are having they're dying, it's mostly people that are really elderly or have significant health problems. So if you're elderly and have a significant health problem, then you're on that list. So that's, so most people, you don't have to worry, especially for children, people in their 20s. It doesn't seem to really, the coronavirus is not very bad at all. It's pretty minor. So it's mostly for the gray hair crowd out there. You're plus 50 or you got a health problem. That's who needs to be paying attention the most here.
Let's real quick, David, and thank you so much for inviting us on today. I'm really excited
my
to be
pleasure.
here. Just real quick, let's focus on a couple of the factors that actually increase the mortality and weaken the immune system. Why is it affecting older people? Well, as we age, our stem cell production goes down. So we can't have that strong immune response that we did when we were younger. Well, one thing that's become very apparent about carbon-60 is that it appears to be increasing stem cell production drastically in people. So what they can do, people that are elderly or over the age of 60 and have that increased mortality rate, they can take C60 so that they increase their stem cell production. And that will help production of immune cells.
Yeah, because we hear, here's a case, a testimonial came in. I'm an active 71-year-olds today. Today I had an appointment to receive stem cell therapy. After separating the stem cells, they were counted and subsequently discovered I had over 73 million cells. And then 2 doctors processing the cells came rushing into my room saying I had one of the highest counts they had ever seen, especially for my age. Moreover, they wondered what I was doing to get such a high stem cell count. Of course, you know what I told them, C60 Purple Power. But that's one of the things. We used to have another 80-year-old guy. He used to 86-year-old. He's Russian guy, and he gets stem cell therapy. He used to go like 5 or 6 times to get the draw to get enough stem cells. He can go 1 time now. He's got enough stem cells to do the job. So that's one of the things C60 does. There's a whole process. We've talked in other shows about it, but C60 greatly increases your stem cells. And then when your immune cells that fight disease come from your stem cells. So when you get the call, your body calls up, we need more immune cells. But you've got an army of stem cells ready to convert to immune cells to go out there and fight that disease. Whereas if you don't, you kind of, they call up the troops and just a few show up and then you have problems.
Well, I can add something to it. And by the way, you guys want to check out c60purplepower.com. You get a 10% discount, YGANT10, c60purplepower.com. You want to write that down because you're going to want to buy this. And if you don't, well, then you can just basically sit there and not take control of your own life. That's your choice. We're not here to force you, but I'm going to tell you something that's interesting about it. So my girlfriend gets, that cough that's going around, that cold that's going around. It's always that, I call it that March cold. There's always you get the November one, the January one, then there's the March one right before spring. That last, we're going to nail people one last time. And she gets it, and she's wiped out from it, and then she gets laryngitis from it, right? What I've been taking C60, all I got from it was this. That's it.
Clear your voice.
just a little tiny cough that comes up once in a while, and that's about it. It's like, and that's part of our immune system, and that's what I think a lot of people don't understand, is that we're constantly picking things up, and our bodies are constantly fighting it. So you can have 2 people in the same house. One person can have the unbelievable case of the flu, and the other person can have a runny nose for a day and a half, and that's about it. That person with a runny nose has a really good immune system. They've worked on their immune system because we're all picking up, fighting it. And I think that's the big thing that I think people, guys, that they don't understand about the coronavirus, is that you're right. 70% of the people will get it and they'll think they had a cold, and they won't even know I had the coronavirus. So immune boosting is such a big thing that people don't pay attention to.
Right, absolutely. And it's not just immune boosting, it's actually like making the immune system more efficient so that, you know, that C60 is well known and scientifically shown to reduce inflammation. That is such a huge part. What's killing people is not coronavirus. What's killing people is the inflammatory response to the coronavirus. It's what's called a cytokine storm, when the immune systems start going crazy and alarms start going off and the body starts attacking good tissue. And next thing you know, the lungs fill with the fluid and they can't breathe anymore. And people are just dropping dead on the street, which is very harsh and kind of crazy, but it happened.
Yeah, and that's because basically the flu virus will infect cells in the lungs, and then, you know, eventually those cells, you know, full of virus and they burst and stuff. And when they do that, that's a huge inflammation. A lot of oxidative radicals are created. C60 gets in there and reduces those oxidative radicals to a huge extent. So the immune cells can get in there and clean it up, the macrophages and the other ones. And so you don't get like you don't get a crazy alarm system. You get a balanced alarm system, so they can go in there and fix it.
And the alarm system is important. Inflammation is a part of our immune system. It's a very important part of our immune system, because it's telling the fighter helper T cells and the cells that it's flagging a cell saying, hey, I'm infected. There's a virus in me. Come kill me. And that's what we need to stay intact. But when we have all these alarms going off at once, the immune system doesn't know what to do and starts attacking itself. And so what C60 does is it quiets that noise, it quiets that storm so that the body can be efficient, and it regulates the immune system so that it can get in there and do its work without all this confusion. So it besides boosting your immune system, it makes your immune system smarter.
Which it needs to be, because the people controlling the immune system are not smart. You know, that's the problem, you know, and I watch, you know, it's amazing when you watch fear in action. And that's what we're watching right now. You know, every single day there should be a new TV channel. It should be, instead of Netflix, it should be Fearix. You know, for $9.95 a month, okay, you can just feed videos of fear in there. It's really, that's what we're looking at. It's fear, 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 fear every day. It's all day long.
Yeah, and when people's minds are full of fear, they can't think right. It actually causes the fight-flight reaction. So the amygdalas click it back to like the fight or flight centers in the back of the brain, and basically the frontal lobes go on neutral. So you can't think straight if you're full of fear. It's just not possible. And then there's
people fighting over toilet paper in the grocery store and doing really stupid stuff because they're not thinking straight. But what we're in the business of is empowerment, not fear. Because if you feel empowered to heal your body, to heal whatever conditions you have, to get off medications, not having to go to the hospital and emergency room to overcome these things, then you're not going to be as worried. But you know what you are going to do? You're going to want to help your community, and you're going to start helping others that you're seeing are afraid of this thing and help empowering them. Yeah. And that's what we want to do.
It's the same thing. Like when you're driving on the traffic after you've been taking C60, you don't have that road rage anymore, right? You're kind of mellowed out. I've noticed that with C60. I think you mentioned that on one of the past shows. You're not.
Well, I mean, you know, I still drive in LA, so I mean, the road rage is only like,
it's inevitable.
It's inevitable. Yeah. I mean, I can't do that, but there's definitely that more mellow. And there's interesting things too that happen. Like the other day I was taking a shower, and I swear to you, I was like, I don't know, it was a hot shower, and I was rushing out with my daughter, and I swear to you, everything was moving in the shower. I was like, I had like a outer body experience with it. Like, wow. I was like, whoa, the tiles are like moving around, but it wasn't like, you know, I don't know what it was. It was bizarre. It wasn't like things getting wobbly. I swear they were just kind of moving. And then all of a sudden I go, man, my mind is playing a really weird game with myself right now. Let me close my eyes. And I did. I remember I closed my eyes. I looked again, and it felt like an electrical power going through me. And then I closed my eyes, opened them again, took a deep breath, and it went away instantly. And I was like, oh, because fear. And then I thought, wow, is that the macular degeneration kicking in? Because I heard that you get the wobbles of macular degeneration, right? And then I thought, well, if I'm getting the wobbles, it's just not going to come and go in a matter of, right, Ken, 45 seconds? Or
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen in 30 seconds. And then I kind of realized before, and I had to go back in my thoughts, and I just thought about going blind for some odd reason or another. You know, your mind races when you're in the shower, right? And like literally before that happened, I thought about going blind, you know, and all of a sudden then my body went into flight or fight, right? And my eyes went nuts. And then once I gained it all back, then the rest of the day I felt fine. Yesterday I got in the shower yesterday. I was like, oh, what's going to happen? I get in the shower and I turn it up and I do the same exact thing and nothing moved in the shower. So that was a really good, I don't know, just a mind game. And that's when I kind of like thought to myself, like, wow, our minds are so powerful what we're doing, you know, because if I was getting those wobbles or those line movements from macular degeneration, it wouldn't just come for 40 seconds and go away. That would be my reality, and it would just be consistently like a wavy television set, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. So I thought to myself at that moment, I said, wow, we create so much anxiety, and C60 gives you the opportunity to relieve that anxiety as well, because it helps you dial into like your thoughts a lot more. And go to c60purplepower.com. YGANT10 is a discount code. Once again, we're saving you money. So go to that website. But Ken, why our minds, and you know, Sierra, you know this, why do our minds just take it and run? You know, we run in the direction of doom, but we don't run in the direction of happiness.
Yeah, well, that's part of the thing. It's also part of like bad memories are retained much longer than happy memories, and that's part of like an inherited evolutionary response. Like a really bad thing is something you want to remember, you know, like the snake that could have bit you, or the tiger that was running down the trail, or something like that. So the body is kind of hardwired to remember bad events more than it is like the good events, because those have survival value. But that can get overwhelmed, you know, that can get like hijacked, and people just get into this constant state of fear or neurosis about something. I mean, because you think about it, you're not, you know, all you can do is prepare, get yourself prepared. If you have the right stuff, I mean, if you have a good, healthy immune system and you've done your work, then if it comes along, then your body's prepared and can take care of it. But the thing is, once you're in a panic mode, you know, nothing you do is going to work out because you're not thinking straight. So your actions will just probably have a negative value. And so part of that is, you know, take a shot of C60, sit back and just do a little breathing, and then you can balance out again. Because this is, you know, the world will continue after this. It's, you know, it's just, it's like the Spanish flu happened in 1918. It's very much like this. It's going to come and it's going to go. 2 years from now, it's just going to be another memory. So just kind of get that perspective. Don't get to totally panic so you don't fight people for toilet paper and hand sanitizers
Take
in the
a
store.
deep breath, people. Well,
Yeah.
the opposite of fear is faith. And we have lost our faith in our bodies to heal it themselves. So we've lost the faith that our body can heal itself. But the thing is, when our body is free of the oxidative damage and doesn't have the pollution, the damaging effects of pollution and radiation and everything else, guess what? Your body can do miracles and can heal itself. Or you could feed yourself French fries, live on bread, white bread, and all of those things, and you probably will go blind just from a lack of dietary nutrition. I mean,
yeah, and that's something to bring up. Yeah, people need to do the basic things for health. I mean, you need to be eating a healthy diet, organic if you can, and you know, you can find out what a healthy diet is. I mean, supplementation, getting your like a multivitamin, making sure you're getting vitamin D, because vitamin D is really key. That's why people get sick in the wintertime, is because they don't get enough sunlight. So get vitamin D. Or if you know, look, if you can't go out and buy vitamin D, you can walk outside your house and get some sunlight, you know, and a little bit of exercise. You don't have to get next to people. There's plenty of space out there. Just walk out, get some sunlight, get some vitamin D, and you know, and also vitamin C's and all those other ones. But you know, good multivitamin. But just the basics, just to make your body healthy.
Make sure you're getting plenty of nutrients, because the immune system runs on it takes a lot of good nutrients to run a healthy immune system.
There's something that's interesting you guys are saying, you know, and we all come from the same mindset. You know, look, I can have a panic moment. Everybody has panic moments. You know, that's why I shared my shower panic moment, right? Because our brain and our mind can do anything. I mean, I literally implemented a word in there, and then literally a minute later in the shower, everything's going nuts in there, right? So I said that for a reason, you know, and I remember Ken and I talked, and Ken's very confident, you know, it's like, I'll just take C60, you'll be fine. Take C60, you'll be fine, right? there's that confidence, but that confidence comes from years and years and years of studying molecules and human body and everything. It doesn't come from somebody who is off the street. That's why C60purplepower.com comes with a great discount called YGANT10, okay, just to tell you guys all about it. But you have somebody here who truly understands the way the human body works. Sierra, you and I had a wonderful talk when you were in LA. We know how the human mind works. We all do. And the human mind can do everything. And this is just, I mean, it's amazing. Travel restrictions. People aren't getting on airplanes. People aren't going anywhere. You know, they're not going to go anywhere. They're not going to visit this. They shut down the McCormick Center in Chicago today with events. Supposedly, you know, baseball, soccer, they're thinking of maybe just having games with no fans in the stands, you know, because people don't, you know, want to be there. You know, we went to the Rose Bowl yesterday, my daughter and I, and my ex sends me a text, don't forget to bring the hand sanitizer, you know, and it's like, wow, it's just, we are just feeling like we wanted a pandemic because Netflix did a documentary on pandemic, and we got a pandemic. It's like we create, you know, look, we could talk about all the ways that this was actually created, but it takes the human mind to push the pandemic forward, and we have done it. And I don't think the average person looks at, you know, this S&P 500 was at 332 2 weeks ago, and now it's at 276. I don't think they understand the damage of that. You know, when you look at a retirement account that went down from, if you had $1 million in your retirement account 2 weeks ago, you now have about $700,000 in that retirement account. You know, I think people are not understanding that that trickle down effect will then trickle down and it will affect real estate. You know, next comes, well, oh man, that was my down payment for the house in a couple of months. So it's not affecting real estate today, but wait till you see what June and July real estate numbers look like. Because where are they pulling the money out of? The down payment was eaten up by the fear and the pandemic in the market. This is just, there's a lot that people don't understand.
I think the numbers will go back up, and as long as you don't sell, don't sell, then you haven't lost the money yet. If you hold on to the stocks, right? Am I right? I mean,
you've lost the money.
You've lost.
You've lost the money, because here's the thing. Okay, when you go and you lose that much money, you know, you're not going to buy more. And the thing is, when the problem is, and this is what I have against all these financial planners. It's like, you know, it's like you go to a doctor or do you go to a doctor and have a financial plan and you have to execute it? These financial planners take your money and they've got many people's accounts and they get paid 1.25% regardless of if the market is up or down. So that money takes 7 years. I think there's a cycle. It takes about 7 years for you to make it back, which means over the next 7 years, you're just making your own money back again. If you actually managed your own money and bailed at the first sign of it and then bought low, you didn't lose that $300,000. Maybe you lost $50,000. And
that's what Warren Buffett did.
Yes,
he put all of his stuff out into cash, and now he's just waiting for it to drop to the lowest level. I saw in the media, oh look, he lost all this money because he didn't put his money in the market. Well, you're not saying that anymore.
No, it's the smartest thing to do. It's like when you are sitting and you are listening to other people, you know, you're not taking your life in your hands. And this is what C60 does. It puts your life in your hands. You want to be the one that can get on an airplane and know you're going to be fine. You want to be the one who can, you know, go to the beach this summer. You want to, if you're single, you want to be the one that goes out at night. You know, you want to be the guy or woman that's not afraid to give somebody a hug. You want to be the person that wants to take your kids out and put in places, then build your immune system. Or you can just sit there and fight over toilet paper and bottled water in Costco on a Sunday with a bunch of other crazy people. C60purplepower.com gives you the opportunity to take control of your own immune system. And that's really what we're talking about, is taking control of your immune system. Otherwise, you're just going to be somebody who's going to sit back and wait for bad things to happen. And bad things happen to people who are scared.
Yeah. And we've talked about the supply lines drying up and, oh God, what's going to happen if I can't get disposable razors at Target? And, you know, like think about the things that you really need and maybe stock up on them. And when you transform your currency into goods, you know, that's one thing they say as, you know, things start crashing down and the economy starts and the value of the dollar goes down, things like that, is to actually purchase as much as you'll need for the next few months if you can, because those goods will be worth more. In fact, they might cost you more to buy those same goods in 6 months. So
yeah, and we have no idea where it is, what's gonna, because a lot of it's just irrationality. And that's the thing, how you can't logically think out irrationality because it's irrational. And there's no logical function in that world. So you just don't know what people are like, the market dropping. The world didn't end yesterday for some reason. I mean, the sun came up. It didn't seem pretty much the same as the day before, but people's fear, panic gets in there, and that's what you get these insane drops.
Yeah, I think that the unconscious mind is pretty crazy. So we have to be careful what we listen to as far as our own thoughts. But I think that's why hypnosis works, right? Is that's what they're doing, is planting new seeds in the mind, in the unconscious mind, so that it can bring about different results. So if we want to bring about healing and more abundance, what seeds do we need to plant?
Well, you could stop watching your television. That might be a good start to bring balance and focus into your mind. Just turn the damn television off.
You can take C60, purplepower.com, and you can realize, because you don't have to think about it, you can let C60 do the work for you. I mean,
Yes.
that's, why do I always take supplements? Why do I go and get an IV drip once a week? Why do I go and do cryotherapy? Why did I go to Dave Asprey's Bulletproof Clinic the other day and thought, man, $600, I get to do 3 of these a week. It's like, why do I do all that stuff? Why did I buy True Dark glasses? Why did I put, screens to block the blue light on my computer? Because I don't want to have to think about it. And this is something that I learned a long time ago. My mother was an ultimate neurotic person who worried about everything. My father had doom and gloom, and I didn't want to be like my parents. So I have been taking precautionary measures to not trigger the inner neurotic. I do not want my inner Larry David triggered, okay? So by doing that, it works. It's like, that's why I'm so with my eyes, I'm like, what can I do? What can I do? How can I do it? Because I don't want them to get worse. They're going to heal. They're going to heal. But what do I need to do? And it's like, and now I'm looking, for the holistic dentist to go get rid of the root canals and scrape my bone, and it's like, I'm spending the money, I'm investing myself, because you do that and you don't think about the loopy stuff that drives you nuts. That's why C60 is way less expensive than a shrink that you all need, way less expensive than hypnotherapy, and way less expensive than just about everything else. So go to C60purplepower.com, because this is what I'm telling you. You won't have to battle with your neuroses. And this is what we understand as human beings. If we take precautionary measures, our neurotic mind will calm the hell down.
It's so true. Education is probably the best thing that you can do. So not looking at the problem, I don't necessarily think is going to help. I think we should look at the problem. I think we should look at what's happening in Italy right now. That could be us in a few weeks. I am watching the news. I want to know what's happening. But at the same time, I'm also empowered because I have a strong why. And I think, David, you might be able to relate to this. The reason why you're spending the money on those things, the reason why you're willing to make some sacrifices for your health and for your wellness, is because you have a very strong purpose, which is you don't want to go blind, or maybe it's you don't want to get cancer like your mother did, or you don't want to fall down the path that your ancestors did, or whatever. I think that getting in touch with that was so important, because then the little things that you do every day that keep you from accomplishing your goals no longer, like for instance, if you're going and buying a Starbucks coffee every day for $5 and you're not willing to spend some money on your health, then you're not really in touch with the reason why you want to be healthy, right?
No, it's crazy. The first time I talked to Ken, I was like, C60 was recommended to me by somebody else. And then I watched, the Eyes on Health episode. And then I talked to Ken, and I was like, immediately after like 30 seconds, I go, oh yeah, I'm going to heal. I mean, I'm going to heal. But there's still other things I wanted to do, because, your neurotic mind does kick in. So of course, I went crazy with the screens, and I got Gunner glasses instead of Warby Parker blue blockers, because they do more. And I wear those red Dave Asprey glasses at night. and I watch TV with it, and I can tell you that thing makes the letters move unreal. Everything is a shadow going out this direction, but it's interesting. It actually is a frozen shadow instead of like the blue light flicker that you're not even seeing, which is really interesting because I put the Dave Asprey True Dark glasses on, and I was watching Curb Your Enthusiasm last night, and it like kind of gave that like extra little like this, how the sea kind of feels like it's growing a little bit. But then I was like, wow, this is weird. And then I realized, no, this is good. What I was missing was the blue light flickering, taking it out like this and like that towards me, and it's interesting to kind of look at this stuff and realize that the more you do, and you're 100% right, Sierra, the more you do, I mean, this is less than a cup of poison coffee at Starbucks. Okay, for all you Starbucks freaks, that is not organic coffee. So you're basically getting a cup of pesticide in your body, which is making your immune system, you might go and get a caffeine buzz, but you're destroying just about everything else in your body. You're destroying your flora in your gut. You're destroying a lot of other things. If you want to learn more about coffee, look at Bulletproof and listen to Dave Asprey talk about Bulletproof coffee and listen to him talk about Starbucks.
Yeah.
You'll have an education.
Yeah. And that's one of the things people, and the thing about C60 isn't a cure-all for things. C60 supports health. And that's the key. You've got to go out there and do your work. You've got to be eating right. You've got to be doing your supplementation. You've got to go out and get exercises, get some sunlight. You got to be doing all these other things that are necessary for health. Because if you're not doing those and, you're eating French fries and greasy hamburgers and drinking yourself to sleep every night, C60 might not be right for you. You've got to put the effort in. And that's part of taking control of your health. This is just one step. That as in bringing control of your health, you got to do all the other things too. It's not just there's no cure-it-all pill or cure-it-all C60. It's just part of a process. It's part of a way of being healthy.
You got to take daily action to really maintain health. It's not something that's just going to be given to you. We were born with it. I think most of us have been, but you have to work for it. And the best way to do it is to start by prevention. Obviously, once you're diagnosed with cancer, you're diagnosed with a condition, it's much, much, much harder to go back and fix that. Yeah. Whereas having everyday lifestyle choices that are healthy choices will make a world of difference.
Yeah, and that's some of the stuff like the scientific studies. The thing that set off the C60 in the world is they did these animal studies, and they found that C60 basically doubled the lifespan of test animals. And what it did is basically, these were Worcester rats, which we call wimpy rats. So, they just breathe on them and they keel over. But with C60, they lived way out to, the maximum life rat span. And the way they did that is it completely prevented the occurrence of cancers and cognitive decline and other diseases associated with aging. There's the same sort of diseases the rats we get. So if you take your C60, it's like a preventative measure. It prevented those things from happening. And that's the best thing to do is you prevent something from happening in the first place. Then you don't have to go back and fix it once, the damage has happened. It's so much preventive prevention is so much better.
It's a lot cheaper too.
Yes.
It is a lot cheaper. And I think people don't realize that, they use terms, you have a degenerative health problem. How about a regenerative health? How about regenerate? Our old school way of thinking is degeneration. The new way of thinking, and if you look at c60purplepower.com and put in YGAN10 as your discount code, you can see lots of great videos about regeneration. If you listen to people like Dave Asprey speak, and you listen to David Sinclair is another one, if you listen to them speak, they talk about, everybody has things that degenerate in your body: degenerative hip condition, degenerative eye condition, degenerative heart condition. Degenerative is a big word in Western medicine. But if you listen to the anti-aging crowd, they look at it as, all right, you find out you have something degenerate, now you can do all this stuff to regenerate. They're all about regeneration. And I think that's where we're, as human beings, we're heading towards a regeneration of hopefully our mindset and thoughts. And I look at like the coronavirus, and it like takes us back in time. It's just... everybody it just shows you how far we've come mindset wise. We've come nowhere. We've come nowhere. We are still we still are a very weak mindset culture, because this was like a Muhammad Ali punch, you know, during his heydays. This was a punch that it's wild to look at. It's like people don't even talk. You have to put the news on. There's nothing positive. There's nobody talking about building your immune system up. There's nobody talking. They just tell you. And this goes back to when in November, when I got, you know, they said macular degeneration, the eye doctor looks at me and he says, just take these Bausch and Lomb vitamins and eat spinach, and hopefully one day you should be fine, but worst case scenario, you'll see black spots, right? And I'm thinking like, wow, that's exactly the culture that we live in. You know, it's like nobody talks about what we should be doing. And what did they say with coronavirus? Just wash your hands a lot and don't touch your face.
Yeah.
Okay. And don't go on a cruise ship. I mean, we should add that to the list, but it just shows that nobody talks about like, hey, take C60purplepower.com and make sure you're up on your vitamin C and all like simple things that people can, we don't ever hear those stories. All the little simple things you can do to heal and cruise through this just like it's the common cold, but nobody talks about that. They just talk about, it's amazing that, you know, the CDC and the medical field, sometimes I think they're in the dark ages. Sometimes I feel like we're back in the 1600s, the way they operate.
That's because fear sells. I mean, let's face it. And unfortunately, when they do talk about, you know, what you should be eating, and the U.S. puts out dietary guidelines, it's based on the dairy and the meat industry lobbyists and what they want us to believe. So it's like, you really have to do your own research.
Yeah, it's just, you got to take responsibility. There's just, because they're not going to give you the right information. I mean, our education system's about compliance and obedience, not about, you know, self-empowerment and learning. It's just, you know, obey your authority figure and shut up and pay the bill.
So let's talk about that then, David. What are some things that people can do to boost their immune system? Well, we've talked about, of course, C60, but another big factor is gut health. They say that 70 to 80% of the immune system is in the gut. So that's a really important thing to look at. And if you're having skin conditions, that is always related to the gut. If you have autoimmune conditions, that is related to what's called leaky gut syndrome. So it basically, you know, what's the quote by Hippocrates?
Do no harm.
No, it's something about basically all disease starts in the gut.
In the gut,
Yes.
yep.
Yeah. And so what is, you know, when we say the gut, what we really mean is the microbiome, which are these good bacteria that have been passed on for generations, but aren't getting passed on anymore as much or as efficiently because the mothers are given antibiotics before they give birth. They're having more cesarean sections. The babies, when they're born, are getting antibiotics and vaccines right out of the birth canal. And so what's happening is we're losing the legacy of this bacteria, and some of these low bacteria are associated with some serious conditions. So we really need to look at the gut. Ken, you could talk to how carbon 60 helps with the gut.
Oh yeah, well, it's a part of it is, you know, you got the epithelial lining in your gut, right? And that's you know, your first defense. So once you get in the C60, it strengthens. And that, on those cells on the lining of your gut, they get replaced every day. They're coming out of stem cells. So you get a healthy gut lining, and then the healthy gut lining attracts good bacteria to it. It has secretions and stuff that strengthen the good bacteria, and then the good bacteria have things like most of the serotonin is actually made in your gut, and all of the vitamin K that your body needs, it's made in the gut. And that's why, you know, good fiber is really important too. I mean, just people, I mean, that's what people do. People just eat crap or they take antibiotics. And you got to realize, you know, there's actually more DNA, bacterial DNA and bacterial cells, like 10 times in your body than is your own cells. And so you've got like a friend down there that you've got to help take care of too, because if you're good to it, then it'll be good to you. Because, you know, when you get the good bacteria in there lining your gut, they'll protect you from bad bacteria that you get exposed to. I mean, you're really in a symbiotic relationship with your gut biome, and you really need to realize you have to support that, you know, and it'll support you. But that's just not just in gut biome. I mean, even in your world outside of that, you know, the kind of world that you have, you really need people, you know, need to be working together. and friends too. I mean, if things go bad, you need friends and whatever else to support it. So but it's a different way of looking at the world than just me and authority. It's more like, people working together as a group than just like master slave relationships.
Yeah, it's interesting. The gut is so important. I mean, take a probiotic in the morning, take a probiotic at night, but take the probiotics that are like soil based. Don't just take the probiotics that you get at Whole Foods, and not to say, not to be disgusting, but you can take a look at your gut health by going to Google poop chart and take a look at what, this is private between you and yourself, right? But go to the internet and take a look at what healthy is and what healthy is not. And it'll give you an idea of what your gut health is. It really will. There's a guy in Jersey that he's like the poop nutritionist, a friend of mine goes to. It's very funny, but he can tell a human being's health by just looking at it, and it is because your gut is not working. How much fiber do you have? It's like, there's so much water intake. I mean, there's so many different things when you do take your probiotic, when you don't take your probiotic, if you've taken antibiotics, a lot of people don't understand that you take antibiotics and sometimes it can take 6 months to get back your gut into health because it kills off everything. And they go, well, I don't understand. I went to Whole Foods and I got the good probiotic and I took it during that. And then I don't take it normally after that. And it's like, no, you have to also look at the foods that don't work for you, especially if you're going to go and battle, and keep your immune system up. There's foods that are not good, like dairy for anybody. Too many grains, sugar. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, and especially sugar. I mean, because sugar is going to lower your immune system in a second. I mean, it's going to take it down to places you do not even want to remotely go. And sugar is hidden quickly. I mean, look, if you go to Whole Foods and, supposedly organic grocery store Whole Foods, you go there and you take a look, go look at the ingredients at the hot food bar. You've got 2 of the worst ingredients they put in the majority of their food. They're putting in canola oil, which is basically just Wesson oil, I mean, with a nicer name. And they're putting in sugar. Sushi. People think sushi's healthy. Ask the sushi chef if they put sugar in their rice.
They do, yeah.
They do. So avoid those places. I mean, because you're basically eating something that's pure, full of, hopefully good, because I don't know about you guys, but, to me, sushi has to come right off the boat for it to be pure. Otherwise, there's so much bacteria in that stuff. But, people don't look at these little things. And these are the little things we just talked about that will help C60purplepower.com help you work your immune system, because you want to be that person that comes through this healthy. Let everybody else freak out and let everybody else know that you've got the best insurance in the world. C60purplepower.com is like nationwide insurance. It's great insurance.
Yeah, I get familiar with the symptoms of bad bacteria and candida overgrowth and things like that. So if you're noticing your breath is really bad, or you notice your partner's breath is really bad, hey, honey, have you been taking your probiotics lately? There's just certain signs. And of course, poop is one of them, but there's other ones as well. Are your ears itchy? Do you just feel like crap all the time? Also, speaking of canola oil, look out for pesticides. Really, I strongly recommend an organic diet, because glyphosate will destroy your gut bacteria. That's just one of the chemicals that will do that.
Yeah, and another thing is watch your things. Soy oil. You never want to take soy oil in, especially salad dressings and stuff. That's just some of the worst stuff. I mean, any unfermented soy is just bad. No tofu, get it out of your body.
And even if the food, it says certified not GMO, non-GMO, it still can have a host of pesticides in it. So really you have to get organic.
You do. There's a great farmer's market here, and they have fermented tempeh.
Yeah, that's good.
Which is so good. And on a Sunday, I'll eat it. It's fermented rice and fermented beans, right? And then they have fermented vegetables, and then they have miso dressing, which it's sweetened with a little bit of pear juice, and that's about it. No oils. I mean, I sit there and I eat that on Saturday and Sunday, and I feel thirsty as can be, because fermented foods will definitely kick up your thirst. But you also, like, you know, Sarah, you said something interesting. Notice the taste in your mouth after you eat. 2 hours later, if you've got a weird tasting mouth after you eat, you're eating something that your body didn't like. Your body wasn't having fun breaking it down. So it was creating gas inside of you, even though you may not have outward gas. It creates that like gaseous, you know, it comes out. Because I know like protein powders is something that doesn't fit me well. I'll eat them and I'll be like, I want to just brush my teeth for 4 hours afterwards.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's not,
It could be like that.
it's not a healthy food. It's not something that fits well. So it's like
So
being
true.
really aware of what you eat, how you eat it, and what happens to you. Certain fruits will do that to you. They'll just ferment inside your body, because you should never have fruit after a meal. I watch people, oh, I'm just gonna get the fruit platter after steak. Well, you just basically are gonna be fermenting all night long. You know, you're causing toxicity all night long. So it's a lot of awareness people need to do, especially with this. So don't panic, be more aware of things.
Mm-hmm. And just
Absolutely.
study the issue. Go out and research it yourself. Don't take somebody else's word for it. There's the days of the internet. You can go out and learn anything that you want to know about. It's out there. You just have to put the time and effort to do the learning. You know, you can be in charge of your own life, your own learning, your own health, everything, and you don't have to rely on other people, you know, or, you know, just hope that somebody's out there is going to save you. You can be your own person.
And also, maybe you don't run, I mean, if you're having an emergency situation or you have a serious condition, go to your doctor. But just remember that the medical system treats the symptoms, okay? So they're not going to give you lifestyle pointers on how to reduce inflammation or how to do these things that are causing those symptoms. So just keep that in mind and think, you know, how can I find alternative ways to boost my immune system, and what can I do to allow my body to heal itself? Because ultimately that's what we're trying to do here, is to give the body what it needs in the form of nutrients, good bacteria, and also remove the things that are destroying the microbiome, destroying our health, and letting the body do what it does naturally. It's amazing how quickly it can heal itself.
Very true. Well, you guys are awesome, as always.
Well,
You know, well, I always say half an hour. I always say half an hour because I know we'll go an hour. It's the only way to do it. So for those of you who are paying attention, once again, c60purplepower.com. You get a discount code, YGANT10. You get 10% off. And, you know, it's less than a cup of terrible Starbucks a day. And it's going to help you fight. It's going to help you battle, you know, all the stuff that's going on out there in the world right now. You want to be proactive, not reactive. This is a proactive way of looking at things. c60purplepower.com. You guys have anything left to say, or are we good for today?
I think we're good for today. Just glad to be on, and you know, breathe and don't panic. You know, the world will continue.
That's right. All right, you guys stay on. I'll say goodbye properly to you. The rest of you, you know where to find c60purplepower.com. YGAN10 is the discount code. And I will see you on the podcast later in the week. I promise to be here unless I'm on a boat. And I won't be on a boat.
You're not going to be taking a cruise.